Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's computer-aided design episode, we're going to be taking a look at recreating a modern household, a luxurious villa of style and sleek. For you guys to do this at home, you're going to need to have downloaded the SketchUp app, which is free to download from the Google Store. I'll drop a link in the description below so you guys can access that from home. Let's get started. Okay then, so we're going to start off as we have done usually, and I'll just quickly go through what I've got set up here. So if we go over to View, Toolbars, and we head down this list, we can see that I've got the camera ticked, getting started. I'm going to untick that and tick that there so you can see what's coming up and what's disappearing. So we're going to have the camera, we'll take the camera off for now. Getting started, we need that. Large tool set, we need that too. Shadows is always useful, we'll have that later on. And lastly, we're going to have the views selected too. Once you've got that, you can rearrange all these little icons on your application. You can even pull them out like this. So I'm going to pull mine here so you guys at home can see what I'm using. Right, so first things first, I'm going to use the select tool. I'm going to click and drag around this chap and we're going to delete him out of the way. We don't need him for what we're going to be creating. I'm going to use the rectangle tool here. And I'm going to start in the origin point. Now the origin point, if I let go of the mouse, it tells me in a little box says origin. So I'm going to click and drag out my first starting rectangle. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to create a series of rectangles that are going to form the starting point of our luxurious house or villa. I'm going to use the orbit tool up here. It's also down on the side there as well. But I'm going to use the orbit tool to look over the top of my drawing. And what I can do is I want this to be one object, which makes it easier to pull and push. I can delete that line and now it becomes one piece. Now I've got some reference material that I'm using for inspiration. You guys are encouraged to do this at home as well. Now I'm going to pull this out to about there. This is going to be my pool area. And just looking at what I've got here, it looks as though I can almost start pulling these out. Now I'm going to just pull a line across here like that, and then I think what I'll do is I'll just pan this across so you can see it a little bit clearer there. Now it's at this stage where when I start pulling things up and pushing things around, I just want to make sure that I've got everything set up so that when I do start to pull these things up, then everything's going to go to plan. Okay, so from the first story point of view, that's quite good. I'll leave that there. That's going to be where the garage is, bizarrely. Okay, and right, let's get rid of this line here, and I'd like to add a thicker line just there, and I'm going to pull that across to form part of a canopy. That's quite good proportions. I'm going to set this back inside the house. Now, I'm not quite happy with this, it's a bit too thick, so I'm going to again push that back slightly. Again, to make it one object, I'm going to erase this line out of the way. Like that. Okay, so nice, modern, sleek look already. So this is going to be the interior. Like a living space, maybe kitchen area there as well. And I want to continue this canopy across. So you see how it changed green there? That means it's in the right plane. So pull that across there like that. I want that to go over the top of this. Now I want it to go there, so I drag my line down. See how I drag that down? It snaps to it. That way it's going to be in line with it. Okay, so quite pleased with that. Could do with that coming up here. I'm going to use that as a guideline, so I'm just going to put that back there and delete that. Now this can be pulled up then. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to segregate that line on the top. Now I'm going to use this offset tool. And the offset tool's here, or if we're on the large tool set, we can find the offset tool down here as well. I'm going to click, drag in like that, and I create a perfect rectangle within inside that rectangle. I can then use that to pull that up. Looking quite smart. Now, need to try and get proportions right here, so a little bit taller. And get rid of that line. Quite pleased with what I've got there. Now, next trick is to try and offset the outside to this line. So I'll do that again so you can see it. So we select this line, we offset, we go outside instead of inside, we go outside, and I drag it down to this point here. And it'll snap there, so they're in line with each other again. The reason for that is I want to create another canopy on the top, like this. And then what I can do is pull that to here. Like that. I quite like what I've got on the top there, a little terrace on top. And for now, I'll just pull that up to about there. For now. Overall, quite pleased with the progress. This needs to be pushed back some. I mean, it is pushed back a little bit. I think actually we could do with going back a little further. So we'll just pull this back a little bit, like that. Okay. Again, I don't need that there now. I don't think I need that there either. Right, okay, so now it's time to add the windows. So we're going to come to a pretty much a front view. I'm going to zoom in with the zoom tool, pan across so you can see what you're looking at. Now I'm using my middle mouse button to zoom in and out here. If you don't have the middle mouse button, you can just use the zoom tool and pull up and pull down. Orbit around a little bit, use the pan tool to get it central. Now I think I'm going to try and find the midpoint by going sky blue and dragging straight down. That's not bad. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll find the midpoint of this section now and of this section. So I've got 4 equally spaced areas. I suppose I could do it there. I just want something else. So I'm just going to midpoint these and then midpoint that again. What this does is it just allows you to create a bit more of a proportion. So I'm going to get rid of that middle line there. So this is going to be like a piece of timber or something like that. And then up to the other side of it, it's going to be windows. So get rid of that, get rid of that. And now I've got these 2 areas for windows. And I should be able to midpoint those like that. So I should have window here, and then windows there as well. Right, so offset. I can offset this to create that first window, offset that again to make the second window. And that's not quite gone in proportion, so what I'm going to do here is just take those out. Now it's a sneaky trick you can do here, but I can select that object and I can right click and I can not use hotkeys. I use hotkeys. So I thought I could right click copy and paste, but it doesn't look like it's there. Oh wait, maybe it is. No. Okay, so it's going to rely on me using hotkeys. I could go up to edit and do it here, copy, and then go back to edit and then go paste. Like that. But I'm going to use Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and it'll just do it for me. Like that. Now it has gotten rid of my window, so all I'm going to do is take the pencil tool and drag from one point down to the next, and it'll refill that for me. So now I've got my 2 windows. And technically that line needs to disappear. And that line needs to disappear. And then it allows me to pull that out as one go and pull that out to the same line. Let's rotate and see what that looks like. A little shallow. Might just add them a little bit more thickness like that. Drag that to that line to get it the same. Quite pleased with that. The big bay windows there on the front. Probably do with some kind of access here, so I might just put some kind of door in there, just a rectangle here. Don't want it floor to ceiling. I'll go for that. Offset. Give it a little bit of a frame, and because it's a door, I'm going to need to move this bottom line down. But to do that, I need to select, I'm grabbing everything here, select this line. If I zoom in there, you can see I've selected that line. Go to the move tool and just drag that down to the bottom. And then I want to zoom back quickly, so I can click on this one called Zoom Extents and bang, it snaps me all the way back. So there's a door into our house. And now I quite like what I've got here, so I can still select that pane, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and I might be able to put it onto another wall here like this. But it's there for me to use, so I'm going to paste it into there. Again, I'm going to zoom in. I need to use the pencil tool and go from one line to the next to rejoin that face back together again. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. What that allows me to do now is pull that out, so I've got another beautiful bay window on the side. It reminds me that door hasn't got a frame yet, so let's add the door frame like that. Zoom to extent. Quite pleased with what I've got so far. Looking quite modern, quite sleek. Let's add some of those bay door windows to this floor. I'll tell you what I will do though, I need to increase the height slightly, so let's pull that up now. You can see how that's attached to itself there. It's just a bit of a faff because I hadn't erased any lines there, so doing that caused a bit of an issue, but I can just pull and play. Again, we're going to use the pan tool, move it around, zoom in, and we should then be able to divide this like that. Oh, misclicked. Control Z if I want to go back a couple of steps. And just got to find that midpoint. There we go. I could do it out of those two there. Pop a line down there. I don't know if that's connected actually. I don't know if I misclicked there. But again, I'm just trying to create that middle section, which is going to not have any windows on it. There, so that's the midsection, and this is going to form part of those windows. So get rid of that one, get rid of that one. I can then offset this and offset that. And again, that little cheat, I can go Control C, Control V, and I can connect that door there. Control V again, connect that door there, and then don't forget, use that pencil tool to drag our line from one point to the next to recreate that face. Rotate it to the side, and then if I select this object, don't forget get rid of that middle line. So all I'm doing is clicking on that and pressing delete. Select the outside shape, pull that out, just create my frame, grab that and drag that to the side, and it creates the same frame the other side. Right, now we're cooking on fire. We've got some really nice bay windows in here, all looking nice and smart. What's next? I think here we need to pull this out a little bit, don't we? We need to have this canopy going over there. So I'll just pull that out. I can drag that down to there as well. So it's all flowing. Now I'm not quite happy with what I've got going off here. And I don't know if you guys have got the same problem at home, but what I can first of all try doing is erasing it like that, and that should clean up those lines. I've got one over here as well. There, just sneaking around. There's another one there. Crafty little so. There we are. Right. Do you know what? I know it's not something we're going to see from that angle, but I'm just conscious that I want to. Oops, I want to drag this down somehow. And how can I do that accurately? I can draw a line up to there. And then from that line I can come across, parallel, like that. I can erase that line out of the way, and I can just drag that straight down. So you might be thinking, well, some of the lines are blue, some of the lines are white. All that means is that you've got a face. So if I draw a face in the middle of the sky like that, one side's usually white, the other side's blue. So just the different, just to tell you which side you've got. So at the moment it's all inside out, but it doesn't really matter because at this stage we're gonna render it anyway, so we're gonna put lots of different colours and textures and things on it at some other point. I'm gonna pull that in slightly, quite like that gap there, and then let's make it nice and symmetrical. That door frame, I'm wondering if I can grab this door frame. I have to zoom in to get it. There we go. Control C. Rotate around here like this. Control V. Let's put it on its side there. I don't want it there really. Well, I can drop it like that and then use the rotate tool. Now this one, quite challenging to use, this one, rotate. So we grab the rotate tool. We want it on the right pane, so we want it on the blue pane. So click from one point to the next, and then we can rotate it round like that. There we go. And then we should be able to push that back to here, like that. And now we should be able to pull that out slightly to create a door. Oopsie daisy. There we are. Interesting. Okay, so let's have a look at this. This is a little bit dangerous at the moment. If you come out here, you're going to drop off the end. So let's add a bit of a safety feature. Let's pull that down to here. And it does block that view, so it kind of gets in the way of the view, doesn't it? So let's keep everything moving. So you can see how sometimes I use lines just to get myself a guide area. And I can offset that, push that back. Now if I push it to this line here, it'll disappear, which it'll disappear. There we go. And then I can use the eraser tool to get rid of that, so I get these nice clean lines. Now it's not lined up there, but what I can do is pull that to there, like that. It's a little safer. Now I'm not going to fall off immediately. What else can I add here? So let's pull a line straight across from here to here. Not what I had in mind. But what I can do now is use the rectangle tool and drag that to there. And now I've created a little fence area. Of course, I'm going to need to pull that out slightly to get a bit of thickness, and maybe just pull it up a little bit to give it a bit of height. And I'm just going to copy that, rotate around, and paste. I should just be able to drop that on there, give it a little push to give it a bit of 3D shape, like so. Let's try that again. From our point of view here, what's happened is it's just not taken the back panel in there. Now we can just simply come across here like that and just add it back in, and then you just need to delete that out of the way, and you've got your panel back. But for what we needed, we could just leave that out. You don't need to do that for this stage. Not so sure about this now. I think actually we should probably bring this up to here. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that now. Okay, quite exciting. This is going to probably be made out of glass or something transparent. And I could do with a way of getting back down. So let's add some stairs in here. So let's get a rectangle there. And I'm going to push that down to this line here. And that should break it through for us so we can see through it. So a little bit of a death trap there. Right. Okay, so stairs then. How are we going to do the stairs? Not quite sure yet. Let's pull that down there. What I could do... Oh, I know. If we go to the front, zoom in a bit, pan around, we can probably just slice this into a series of midpoints, like that. And what we'll end up doing is we'll create a series of stairs or steps I'm just coming across, slicing this up. Control Z, because I made a mistake. Now you can Control Z, like that, to get rid of all your parts, or you can Control Y, which will redo your steps. I think you've got something like 30 different steps you can do before it stops. Something to that effect. Right, okay, so do I push that all the way back to there? No, I want to be about there, don't I? So I'm just pulling these back now to create this stairway. Oh, it looks like some of these are going to have to go forward. Oh dear, that's not so good. They're there or thereabouts, aren't they? They're not. That's not perfect. We could spend a lot of time dividing this up, equally proportioned and things. But, I mean, sorry, equally spaced. But at the moment, they're quite well proportioned, so quite happy with that. What have I got here? So I need to delete that out my way. I think I've got a little space there. Let's try and zoom in here. Try and spin around, and then recreate that box. Get rid of that again, and then we should be able to midpoint, midpoint, and midpoint again. And then if I pan, oh, gotta be careful because I'm going to be panning through an object. That's zooming in there. That needs to go to about 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 there. So a little bit of an issue. We've got a big jump there from that step to that step. So I'll just pull these up. It might mean that we have to create some more stairs at the bottom, but that's okay. It's this kind of feature that is really going to sell your design as well, and set you apart from everybody else, because it's that added extra detail that most people won't bother to try and put in. Oops, a little bit of a trap there. And again, I can just do the same thing here. I could just midpoint these so I get those proportions right for those stairs. And just pull them out as I need them. Mind you, they look a little smaller, but not to worry at this stage. Let's get this. Let's get them to the ground for starters. They're not bad, are they? They're okay. They seem to be getting taller and taller and taller as you go up, but not to worry. Okay, so they're not bad. They're not bad. What I'm going to do here is just take a line to there and push that out of the way. So I've got this little stairway like that. And hopefully I can get rid of these without it affecting the stairs. Don't know if I can get rid of that though. Let's have a look. See if this has worked. If it's not, I can always Control Z and go back to it. But let's just have a little orbit over the top. Yeah, my stairs are still there. Okay. And should I add a panel in here? I could do, couldn't I? I could do, but for now, let's just leave it. Let's just have a dangerous set of stairs there for now. Okay, so we're 24 minutes. I want to wrap this up in 30, so I need to speed up a little bit. Okay, so let's add in a little feature here. Let's add a pool. Drag this out here like that, something like this, and then I'll have a little space there for us to be able to get into it, and then I'm going to pull that down into the ground. So let's drop it into the ground there. It's a very deep pool. There we go, and you'll see why I've done that later on in a moment. I think that's it basically from the form and shape. Might just want to add a little offset here. I think I do. Let's just maybe offset that slightly. Just pull that up. Just slightly higher, so you have to sort of step into it, you know. Okay, right. So let's start texturing this then. Let's start adding the textures to our little model. So first thing I'm going to do is going to control A, select all, control A to select everything. Go to my paint bucket, that should come up here. I'm going to turn the whole thing white to begin with. Like that. Control D to deselect, or just click off the side so it's all white, so I've got a plain canvas there. Now I could add the shadow, and all of a sudden, wow, it really starts to pop there, doesn't it? All these beautiful shadows appear. And then I can texture afterwards, but we're going to go straight into the wood textures. And I want something with some verticality, something up and down. And I'm going to come in here and start adding this wooden texture to this part. Not that piece, Control Z. Like that. And then again, in here, here, and here. I could just drop in that colour where I think it's going to suit it. And I'm going to, just for the sake of it, put a bit there as well. So we've got these really nice wooden panels. Like that. And it might go for a little bit of like a dark grey. Let's see if I can find some kind of slate or stone effect. What's that look like? That's not bad. That's a bit better. So we need to come into these edges here like this. Now we're only interested in this angle. We could spend all day. If you've got all day to spend on it, then by all means do so. But I'm just going to come along and paint in the textures from the point of view that I'm going to look at it from. What I mean by that is I'm painting these bits here like this. But I'm not going to paint the back here because I'm not going to see it. I'm going to take a shot from here. So this is the view I want to see. You guys at home, of course, like I said, you can spend more time on this. Okay, let's go zip, zip, zip. Sometimes you have to zoom right in to catch that colour, otherwise it won't quite do it. Zoom extents, quite happy with this. Grab those. So this is like a nice modern grey slate for the window frames. Not sure what I'm going to do with these steps yet. Let's put slate on the tops for now. I suppose I could put wood on the side, maybe. A little tricky to get hold of that one and that one. Do I want that wood texture on there? Do we want that on? Why not? We'll leave it on for now. Okay, so this part is quite interesting. So what I'm going to do here is go to water, and I'll probably select something like that. And I want that on the ground. And then I want to go to like a stone. Like a marble stone like that. And then again on this outside we're going to have this lovely little granite looking shape, colour, texture. And then what we can do here is I should be able to grab that, pull that into there like that. Now if I go to up here to translucent, I can't see if you're looking. Sometimes you can't see if you're looking, can you? I'm looking for translucent. Glass, there we go. And select one of these blues like that. I don't know why that's divided itself. I have to go through the image now to grab this line. Let's just bring this up a little bit. Let's see if we can give this a colour. I'd like to give it that. There we go. Zoom to extend a bit quicker. There we go. We've got this texture on here now, so we've got this little water in here. There we go. And then I think there we go. So now we've got that. Let's bring that shadow out of the way though. There. So we've got a little pool there, pool area. Now around here we need to finish off very quickly now because I've got seconds left. Sure there's like a gravel somewhere. There we go. Let's get some gravel around the outsides. A wooden panel would be lovely there. Maybe a different style of wooden panel though. Let's go for that. Yeah, that looks quite nice. And outside we've got the drive, so landscaping I suppose that would be. Yeah, I quite like that. It's quite a good one. A bit of vegetation, so vegetation, we could grass that up, we could turn that to grass, lawn, do it like that. Put myself a little path. To my swimming pool. Go. And that, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is it. I think we've pretty much done it there. Probably need a floor for this. Mind you, it depends what angle we go for. If we go for an angle like that, perhaps we wouldn't need it. Let's get rid of this, so it's all part of the same thing. My object. That's it. Good. Oh, that's right. I was going to have. That's going to be a wind. That's going to be a thing, isn't it? A texture class. So let's go to window covering. No, not window covering. Glass mirror. That's mirror. I don't want that. That's quite good though. I think. A little glass panel there. A little bit of protection. So play with these shadows and see what we've got. That's quite nice. And that's that. So we'll finish the video there. Let's have a nice little view of it. So there we have it. There's our modern looking house. We've got a staircase in there. We've got some windows and some doors. We've got a pool in here. We could add like a ladder maybe if you wanted to be really creative there. So there you go. Now, as you can see from this tutorial, that I have spent a lot of time on this house, but what's more important, I suppose, and what you probably recognise is the fact that actually I ended up losing myself with the design, and that's a really powerful part of this process. You can end up losing yourselves in this, and then all of a sudden 20-30 minutes goes by and you've designed something with some great form, and I've taken inspiration from some pictures from the net, but I've had a great time rendering and shading this. Now I could transform it into all kinds of different shapes, but I'm going to wrap the video up there, and so that you don't miss another one of my videos, you can click on this video here to go back to look at some of the basic tutorial steps for Google SketchUp, or so you don't miss another video, you can click on my beautiful face there and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe. Bye now.